Hey guys, JJ back here with another baseball bet. This time it's going to be for the Braves versus the Mets. Degrom versus Teheran. I've seen the line at Degrom minus 150 or Mets minus 150, total 8.5. The game's going to be played tomorrow night in Atlanta, 7 o'clock Eastern start. So we grabbed two wins on Friday with the Rays and the Oakland, Texas game going over, which went over in 6 innings. The lone loss being the Mariners at plus 130. Now this brings the channel to 10-2 on video posted plays. Again, I continue to reiterate, wildly unsustainable, so be sure to keep perspective in place and your units the same. Now 10-2 is great, but here's the thing. Right now, we are 0-0. You actually have to attack this industry each day as if you're 0-1, to be honest. Now this is because you'll be handicapping with a chip on your shoulder when you do, in fact, change your shift in thinking to that way. You won't stray away from your process. You'll stay committed to what you know works. Because here's what happens slowly over time to people. We'll say you bet 10 to 15 games. Maybe you did really well. You go 10-5, 66%. Now, with all this newfound money, you decide to start betting maybe a few more games. Maybe not up your units, but you're starting to bet some more games thinking like you have a hot hand or that you figured this out. And you end up going 5-10 in those next 15 picks. And you're starting to wonder, hey, what the fuck happened? Well, complacency is most likely what happened. If in your own mind you go into each day as if you're down a unit, you will continue to work harder to get that unit back. You'll dedicate more time. You'll talk to more people. Your research will be more dedicated. I find way too often people do really well, in this industry in short spurts, and their handicapping gets lazy and they just get too complacent. I've said this over and over again. I've been humbled in this industry in the past, and I'm sure I'll continue to be in the future. But to find success here, you must, at one point or another, or many points for that matter, trip over your own feet. My dad's been a great tutor, but I still had to fail myself. Been doing this with success now for a few years. And if you don't believe me, feel free to check out. I did a few NFL videos where I posted my bet slips for games. NFL's been successful. College basketball's been successful. Baseball now has been successful. And I've been doing this for years before this, before I started doing content. It's a disciplined, committed approach to success while remaining humble throughout. And I know and understand that, tomorrow could start a 10-game losing skid. So mentally going into each day, thinking you're already in the negative will only help your process and your research and dedication towards more success. Now, tomorrow, as mentioned, the Mets have Jacob Degrom going up against Julio Teheran. And wow, does that total seem high at 8.5. Now, I get that the bullpens have been bad for both these teams, actually for the whole NL East, but nonetheless, that is wildly, wildly high number for this game. I look at this series and think, okay, it opens with Mats versus Gosman. Total opens 8.5, it moves to 9. Game lands 9. Zach Wheeler, next game is Zach Wheeler versus Kyle Wright, total of 9. The game ends at 9. Now, this last one, which was today, is Jason Vargas versus Newcomb, and the total opened again at 9. As of this recording, there are 15 total runs in that game, but that doesn't mean much to me in this instance because Vargas would get shelled in a Little League game, and Newcomb is he's still kind of struggling, not really figuring himself out ever since he came into the league and had some initial success. Now, Degrom breaks his long streak of quality starts in his last outing, and I'm just supposed to assume, he's going to give up a lot of runs again. Of course it's possible, but for a guy in Degrom whose totals for games that he pitches in are rarely above 7. They're usually 6.5, 7. Rarely you'll see him hit 7.5 or even 8. This one's 8.5, and you're getting the Braves ace. Now, I get it, Teheran is a bit of a mutt, but he's been decent at home, and he had a decent year last year. His ERA was in the 3.9s, so he hasn't been that bad. I think you have a few different things here. I think you have the Atlanta weather, which has been warm. Ball's been carrying a bit. I think you have a lot of runs that are scored today, and I think you have both these starters coming off of awful performances. Degrom had his worst start in 26 starts in his last outing. Teheran gave up 6 earned in his last outing. So it's all about what have you seen lately, and this is what you've seen lately, but this is not who these two pitchers are, specifically Degrom. Now, like I said, Julio Stars had a rough start to the year, but he will be home here, and he did have a good start against the Cubs at home this year, yielding only 1 run in 5 innings. On the road, though, he has been pummeled. Again, this game won't be on the road for him. Now, we have 2 pitchers, as mentioned, coming off really bad starts. I have this game capped at a total of 7.5, so I will happily take the under 8.5. I just can't imagine this climbs to 9 because of money. If it does, people are just wild with this because, again, if this climbs to 9, this tells me, or this should tell anybody in the market that the Mats Gosman game, the Wheeler Wright game, the Vargas Newcomb game, all which had a total of 9, are equal to the starting pitching caliber of Degrom and Teheran, which simply is just not the case. Both teams have shown potential with their bats. The Mets have looked strong this year thus far, specifically Pete Alonso. What a stud he's been for them. And the Braves have plenty of pop all over the lineup, filled with big names. But each of these will be seeing the best starting arms of the series. And yet the total is nearly the same for the 3 previous games. Since the total is 9 here, this means we will get a first half total of 4.5, probably at even or slight juice. This is another spot where I again prefer the first half. I'm seeing 4.5 at some spots, and you'll see more things pop up. I know there has been issues in the past where I post a video and the first five innings line, isn't favorable by the time people view it. I want to be clear that I also do really like the under at 8.5. Seeing that at -110. I prefer the first half and only bet one of these. So as far as the channel goes, the play will be under first half, 4.5. But again, if by the time this comes out, you see a total of 4, but the total is still 8.5 for the game, I prefer you bet the game there. Get that extra half run in case this does land 4 in the first half. But again, the play here from the channel is going to be Mets versus the Braves, Jacob Degrom versus Julio Teheran, total 8.5. Total first 5 under 4.5. Again, I just can't see both teams piling up hits against these pitchers. The only way I think this goes over is via the long ball in that somewhat warm Atlanta field, or if one of these pitchers just completely loses control and walks 3 to 4 guys, giving up a few runs that way. Either way, this line is extremely favorable, so definitely going to be all over the under first half, 4.5 in this game. Want to thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me center that. Thumbs up. Subscribe if you are not already, and feel free to drop a comment below. I know there's a lot of games tomorrow. I know this is one of the later games, so feel free to drop any comments. I'll give you some initial leans that I have on any games you have questions on, or just let me know what you're betting. I'd love to chat back and forth with you guys and really appreciate the comments and the loyalty to the channel thus far. And I will have another video for you tomorrow, so good luck in this game, and good luck with your plays tomorrow. And if you're betting NBA, if you're sick enough to be betting the NBA, good luck there as well. I will be back soon.